Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft Amplified server. Aha! Nope. Yeah, we're over here in the new area. This place is gorgeous. I spend a fair bit of time just walking through this area and looking up at the hills sometimes. Man, it just looks so good. I really do love it. And I'm excited, I really am, for the future of this base area. And it seems like a lot of you guys are as well. I've been reading your comments and taking some of the feedback into consideration. Now, I haven't had much time to do too much in between episodes. I've mainly been bringing across some materials. In here, you can see I've been collecting loads and loads of things, just bringing them back from the base, visiting some farms like the Iron Farm and the Witch Farm, and just stocking up on supplies, because I realised, you know, we're probably going to make lots of trips back and forth unless I get the bulk of my things over here to begin with. So now we have loads of things to build with up here, and since we built a storage room down there, it would kind of make sense to put them straight in there, right? But I haven't finished building it, and I do want to put a little bit of time into organising it as well. So anyway, I've got your feedback, we've got some ideas of things to change in this area, and you can probably tell already this is looking a little bit wonky. I've been trying some of the suggestions. There were three main ones which I thought were really good. So number one was to put some cracked sandstone in the ceiling. I tried putting them in random places. It just didn't feel right because the texture was broken up quite a lot. And I feel like if you want to do randomization, you need the textures to be a little more subtle. So I ended up putting them in a pattern. It looked kind of silly. And then I thought, well, maybe a border. And this looks right. I think we're going to go with this, a sandstone patch going across. And we'll probably put it on this side as well, so it wraps around both bits. And I think that'll actually end up looking really good. So that's the ceiling taken care of. I'll fix all of that up in a minute. But down here on the ground, we have two suggestions, both of them related to lighting. So the first one was to use some carpets. Brilliant idea. It's a shame that there isn't more carpet colours, you know. The more things they could give us for building, it could only make this game better. But there you go, some glowstone, and the glowstone itself doesn't look too bad in the ground. But if we chuck a carpet on top, then it fits in pretty well. It's kind of obvious what it's there for, but we can make it part of a floor pattern, which is something I'd like to get. This X thing is temporary. Do want to work on something else. So maybe with these carpets we'll be able to get something that works. But the other suggestion was to use slabs, and I thought, hey, let's use some stairs as well. Mobs can't spawn on those, but it just didn't feel right being lowered slightly. It feels like this is the right height. And I'd also like to put a pattern in as well, and I feel like this kind of limits it. So that didn't really work out, and we're still figuring out the floor, but at least we got the ceiling down. I know what I want to do here, so I'm going to be fixing that up, and we're also going to be expanding this over to the other side. Now for today's episode, I really don't have too much of a plan, so I'm probably going to start working on the other side of this, which is something we definitely need to do. But as I devise my ideas, I think we might be doing something above the ground, because one of the biggest complaints I got last episode was, you know, Asuma, he goes over to amplified terrain, gorgeous mountains, lovely sights, and the first thing he does is he goes underground. Now that's true, but the thing is, I did say in the last episode that I would be expressing my plans for this area at a later point, and I got a lot of plans for them. In fact, what we might do later in this episode, if I devise my plan and things work out, we'll actually talk about that a fair bit, because I've got a way that I want to approach this base building and playing in this area, which I think you guys are really going to like. It's going to be something a little bit different from how I normally do things, and I think it's just going to be a lot of fun. But here's the deal, I do plan on building above ground. I do not want to go entirely underground. I do enjoy digging and doing interiors, but I want to work on my exterior building as well, and this area would be a lovely opportunity for that. We have loads of space, we have some gorgeous mountains, and some of you are suggesting terrific ideas like building a village that actually comes off the wall. Now I don't think I'm at that level yet, but we've got so much mountain space here, we'll definitely do something like that at some point in the future. But as for building above ground, it is part of my plans. I want to make it really clear that I do want to do that. It's just, I find building underground so much easier, so it'll be based on what I got the inspiration for and the mood of what I'll be doing. But I kind of feel like I got the mood to do something above ground this episode, and like I said, maybe that'll tie into some of our plans for the future as well. But as of right now, I'm going to fix up things in here. We know what we're doing with the ceiling. I'm going to try a few more things with the floor, and hopefully we can finalize the design in here. And when we've done that, of course, I'll bring you back in and show it, and then maybe we will be working above ground. So this is exactly what I want. Can you see what I've done here? Well, the top is exactly what I said I would do. On the bottom down here, I've thrown in some sand, and this looks lovely. It just breaks up the texture, and it's like the same colour. You can barely notice it, but as you move around, it just throws in a little bit of variation, and I actually really like that. The floor is plain, but it is just slightly varied, and that looks cool, and that's so much better than working with those patterns and the carpets, in my opinion. Now, those carpets were a little bit toxic, and I decided to remove them because I've been playing around with some other ideas for lighting. So let's have a look at this. If we put the glowstone down below, as I said, we could put the carpet on top of that and it will pop out, or we could put in some yellow stained glass. Now that, to me, I can't make up my mind here. It doesn't look too bad. It's obvious that the lighting is there, but the colour is clearly different from one another, right? Now if we go and put white on top of this, you can see it's a little pale, and I feel like the pale almost fits in a little better than the yellow. Let's actually put two of these sort of side by side. Now I haven't figured out exactly where they would go, but they would be placed down in a pattern. And maybe we could even alternate between yellow and white. Do you know what? I think the white just works so much better. I really do. And yellow might be the colour because it matches, but I think I'm probably going to go with the white. So down in here we are going to throw in the occasional lighting. Now another thing that I've done is I put glowstone behind all of these chests. Can you see it back there? Well, that's going to illuminate this front bit right here a little better. So it means our lighting can actually go back a little bit, and because the glowstone's now one block lower, it means all of it should be lit up. But that's something I'm going to have to figure out in a moment. There's going to be lots of work there, you know, pressing F3, counting the light block values and checking that it's all been lit up. But I'll do that. And round the back here, I saw a few comments from people saying that I should have filled in the back here with lots of blocks so it looked nice between the chests. Well, that is something I'm not going to do because we're actually going to have rooms behind the chests, and that'll make sense more in the future when you see some of the projects that we're going to be doing. Now, eventually this will all get tidied up and there will be some nice blocks back here, but we're going to be doing things for hoppers and minecarts and other stuff to do with the storage system. So for now, it's going to be left like that. And it does look a little bit silly, but I wanted to point that out. So anyway, we're going to work on the floor. I'm going to try and do a little bit more work over there. I did clear out a little bit of space. And then we're going to move above ground because I'm pretty sure I know what I want to do now. So let's get this done. So I do know what we're going to be building because I've spent the day on my creative server play.xisumavoid.com doing some building for the building that we're going to be building here. How many times did I just say building? And yeah, this is going to be pretty awesome. Now there's something that's going to go inside this, something that has a purpose for our storage area, and I don't think we're going to have time to build what goes inside of it today, so that will probably come in the next episode. And do I have a shovel? I do. That's great, because this is where I've decided we're going to build this thing, and there's a little bit of land here that just needs leveling off like this. And I love the old instant mine. And one thing I wanted to point out, is it me or is it in the swamp biome that it just feels like the dirt always stands out so much more next to the grass than it does in other biomes. But anyway, we're just going to take this a little bit off right here, and that gives us quite a big, large, flat area to work with, which is cool. Our building's going to be able to fit inside of here. And what I'm going to do is just build it probably bit by bit, show you the different sides of the building, the interiors, as they go up. Because, as I said, I've already built this on my creative server. That's the best way to do building, in my opinion. If we had to do it in survival, I would just never get anywhere. It takes me so long, you know, trying lots of different things until I figure out what looks good. But this building does look good. It's the same theme as what we've done down below with the sandstone and the dark oak. And by the way, you can see I put in the stained glass and the glowstone underneath. So all of that down there is kind of finished for now. So yeah, let's focus on this building. Alright, so this is our floor plan. And yeah, not too much to see really. This is where our thing is going to go. We're going to have an awesome thing right here. And you'll have no idea what that is. I'll show you in the next episode. That's going to be really cool. But as for building the building around it now, it shouldn't take me too long. But this is the floor plan. If you have a look, it's like 4 blocks on this side and kind of 5 across this way. So what I've done is just made the walls thick and put some designs on the inside. And that way it's not a complete square. And it's a little bit rectangular. And it just about fit in this area. Had to do a bit of terraforming over there. And you know what? I think it's going to be fine here, but it's really hard to tell what's going to happen in this area. We're just going to have to let things unfold and not really worry about it too much. But it's going to be a nice building to have in this area. So let's start building it. I know, I said it again. I said terraforming. Landscaping is the word. Oh, I don't know why. I can't get that word out of my head. But hey, you're used to me by now. So you can see a little bit of the size of this building now and what's going to be on the interiors. And I was talking about how the walls over here are going to have a bit of decoration. And basically the middle room's still going to be a square. But I wanted to do something interesting with the walls. And the way this all comes together is really nice. It joins up with the ceiling above really well. And basically it's going to be like a big open space or a barn for us to put our farm in. But on the inside here we're going to have these pillars coming up. And these blocks down the bottom here you can't actually ever see. But we're going to have pillars on the inside, like so, going up to the ceiling. I'm going to build the exact same thing on the opposite side, and then we're going to have pillars on the outside as well. And again, we're using the same materials, so these dark oak and sandstone really go together well. But the way we put it together with the roof is going to look nice as well. So this is kind of it. I'm going to fill in those gaps with cobblestone, I think, and even below the glowstone you can see that there's loads of space down there. I think I'm going to fill all of this stuff in just so nothing ever spawns in there, even if it's lit. Just seems like a good idea. So you can see it sort of come together a little bit now. One of the things I am going to do is just build the basic structure of the whole thing and then put on some details after, because it wasn't until I went around and threw in some trapdoors and buttons and fences on the outside that I was really happy with it. So we'll get to see it sort of come together in the same way. But yes, let's continue building this thing. I never know what I'm going to do next, so I'll just build a bit more and show you it as always. So we're getting to the roof now, and this thing looks a little bit plain, a little bit flat. Well, it's not flat, but you know what I mean. It's just the same material going all the way over. And when I was actually building this building, this is where I kind of got stuck. This roof took me a long time to figure it out and how it was all going to work. So we've got like a slope on this side over here, going at that gradient. I'll have the same one on the other side because it's going to be mirrored. And then if you sort of take a step back and look where the two would meet if they kept going, it would be something like up there. And that means it's going to have a massive, huge roof, which is not something that I wanted. And it took me the longest time to get to a conclusion. But what we're going to do is some sort of like double roof going in the opposite side now, like that. And then we'll have two windows up the top there, and it will end up looking pretty cool. But on the inside, I love the way the roof comes together here. You can start to see a little bit of it right here because I kind of threw in some upside down stairs, and then there's slabs that alternate as they go up, and even behind the slabs there's other blocks back there, so you get like a nice little bit of detail at the top, so you don't just have a flat wall. And that looks really cool. I was really pleased with how that turned out. It'll look a lot nicer when more of this is built. And you can see I've built up the whole of the inside there and some of it over on that side, and bits of it are coming together, and once again it will come together a lot more when we add some more details around the outside. But I'm sure you want to see how the roof is going to come together next, so what I'll do is build all of this on the opposite side as well, and then I don't know, I'll have to build up the middle bit. I'm not sure quite how I'm going to do it, but I'll probably do it in a way that will show you how it all comes together. So yes, we're going to mirror that side over here, and then we'll be able to build the middle bit of the roof. Okay, it may not look like I've done much. I certainly haven't built the roof in the middle. We're going to definitely do that next. Just wanted to show you a little bit of the progress here, because I built this side, and then as I built it I noticed the other side was higher up, and I actually made that roof a little bit bigger than it was supposed to be. So now it is the correct size, and it's coming together slowly. And also this bit of the back here, kind of following the slope that we got here, it goes down and then up again. And the back wall is actually probably my favourite bit of the whole building, just because it came together really well when I was trying to throw more details into this thing. So you get to see a bit of this wall. There's going to be some other stuff going on here, but we'll do that after we get the roof in place. So now that I've fixed those problems, we are actually going to build it. We're going to do the two bits as I described, going up and down in the middle, and I think you're going to like it. So we are very nearly done with this roof now. It has come together pretty well, and there's just a few more blocks to go. Now we've got these two rooms at the top here that I don't think are ever actually going to get used. And oh no, we can hop inside using the glass at the front actually. There we go, last block placed. No, I got to fill in this gap right here. I think if I remember correctly, there's going to be some glowstone at this height right here. So it's going to be a case of having slabs going all the way across like that, and then underneath there's going to be some glowstone and some blocks to sort of fill it in from below. So one of the things that I haven't done is the bottom side of the roof, because below all of this it's going to look a little bit ugly. But let's go into this room. There's going to be no staircase or access to this or anything like that, and I think what I want to do is probably put a row of slabs going across there, right, just to make it look a little better. But then again, this is never going to be used. Do we have any glowstone on us? We do, because I want to plop down one in the middle of the room like that. So all of this is lit up, and a little bit of light will illuminate from the front, which is cool. Another thing I realised is we've got slabs going across the front here. Or sorry, not slabs. Like slabs are at this height, and then this is the normal block height. So mobs will be able to spawn along here. And that might become a problem in the future, because we are going to light a lot of places up. So it's one of those things we've got to keep in mind. Anyway, let's go and place that glowstone on this side over here as well. And then let's take a step back and look at it from some different angles. One of the things I've been thinking about is how when I usually look at this, I'm flying around all over the place, just looking at it from this angle, then that angle, and something doesn't look quite right there. I think there's something wrong with that block, I'm not sure. I'll come back and change things. There's more details that I want to add as well. But yeah, you're flying around and you get to see it from all sorts of different angles, whereas in this example we are quite limited in our choice of views. Yeah, and it doesn't look so great because I can't just whiz around, but trust me, it does look good. Let's see it from down here. I like it, I think it works, and when we bring in the walls on the back and the front and we finish all of these details, it's going to look awesome. And actually, we're probably like 80% done now that I think about it, because that was a big part of this build. And yes, I've fallen into the ravine a couple of times, sort of wandering around looking at it. Okay, so it looks pretty good. And one of the things I've said a couple of times now is when we add in the details, all the buttons and little bits like that, this place is going to come to life. But I think there might have been a couple of things that I've done wrong, so I'm just going to double check it and see if we're okay with the roof. Alright, so the ceiling on the inside was actually really easy. All we had to do is put down these blocks right here, this row of 3, then a little bit of shape over there and on that side as well where the glowstone is. So we've got some lighting in the upper area of the room. Now we're going to go around to the back and add a detail that I really liked. Or actually several details. Do I have enough blocks for this? I think I just about do. Yeah, so we're going to cover up these blocks right here. Let's pick up these. 1, 2, 3 on that side, 2 there, and then 3 again. So that looks pretty cool. And then we're going to fill in this space right here. And let me get some dirt so I can pillar up. Just with more sandstone, but on the outside. So it's kind of like a 3D effect. Now at first, I don't think this is going to look like anything too special. But when we get to putting in like some more details around this place, it's going to look real nice. It's really going to pop out. So there you go, sort of breaking away from the flat wall shape, which is always a good thing to do. If one of the things I've learnt with building is that if ever you've got a big flat wall, you need to put some details into that. And we've got just enough materials to do this. There we go. So already that looks a little bit more interesting. It's no longer flat. You've got like a bit of a cove up the top there, which is cool. And I think now we've sort of done everything except the details. So you could call this finished, right? You know, it's got walls, it's all filled in, there's the roof. But the details, as I said, as I've been saying, are going to make a world of difference. So I'm going to go and grab some things and start placing them down and show you how much of a difference they do make. So we've got trapdoors, buttons, fences, and some stairs, and these are going to make a world of difference. I think we just need to pillar up a little bit here. So let's just take a step back. That looks alright, doesn't it? Well, when we add a couple of blocks here, it's going to thicken it up and just make it look a lot nicer. And we'll do the same thing on the other side, but for now I'll show you the other details. So we're going to put some fences in right here, and then below this bit we'll put in a trapdoor. We'll put that on both sides. In fact, we're going to have those going all the way across, which is going to look real good. But just at the same point over here, we're going to have them as well. We're not going to have one in the middle. What we're going to do here is put a wooden button, and then we're sort of going to put it in the same place. If you follow the way this goes up a little bit, we'll put it right there on either side, and that'll look awesome. And as well as that, so we've got the trapdoors here and there. I've got to put those stairs in, and the wooden, no, is it wooden buttons or is it the fence posts? So now it's even on either side. As well as all of that, we're also going to put in some stone buttons just on the andesite. And this is kind of adds the subtlest of details, but I think like it makes a big difference when you've just got those extra little bits of detail here and there. And I'm forgetting one really important thing, which I think actually makes this look really awesome, is some fence posts underneath these blocks like that. And that's it, that's our back wall, now with some detail on. And how much better and nicer does it look that those things have been thrown in there? Really does make a world of difference. So I'm going to go around and continue adding these things. We're going to add them on the outsides and the insides. I'll point them out to you, and then this building will technically be finished. And boy oh boy has it taken me a long time. A lot of time in creative mode, not quite as much in survival because we kind of knew exactly what we were doing. But obviously it's the building process that takes the longest time. Alright, so our very final details go in. These buttons right here, they just make this little pattern on the edge of the wall kind of pop out a little bit more. I love it. That looks so cool. And that's kind of everything done here. I feel like you could probably do one or two more things a little bit better on the interiors here. But this is a great start for the building half of our base project. I did want to make this an important part of what we're doing here. And I think with more buildings in this theme, this will really settle in. And one of the things we'll do in the future as well is put some plant life around it as well. So up the top there, a couple more details. You can kind of see them, trapdoors and buttons. And then at the front here, we've got the same details as on the back. And also the arch coming down like this. And the buttons are sort of just like they were on the back with that sandstone arch. And so it's kind of mirrored and it kind of all makes sense. But if we just remove these blocks... Oh yeah, I also added some glowstone because it was kind of gloomy in here. But there you go, that's the building. It's done, it's finished. And I'm going to spend a little bit of time trying to find some good views of this thing. Maybe it'd be a good idea for us to find our way up to the top of one of these mountains and see how it looks from a distance, because this thing looks really awesome. Okay, this view is a little too high up and we're kind of straight on with this building, but you can see the scope of the area. There's plenty of spaces for other buildings, and as it fills up, which is what I want it to do, it's going to look awesome. And I've got so many ideas for this place. It's really inspiring to be up here. I love the amplified terrain. It really is spectacular. Although when you come up here, you don't get too much of a view of anything else because there's an even bigger mountain right behind it. But I think what will look best is to get a sort of a quarter on view. So let's aim for that bit right there. And when I say quarter on, that's my brain trying to quickly come up with the correct word. What I mean is diagonal. A sort of isometric view where we're directly across. And let's see. Oh, fell down. Let's see what we can do here. Can we get a good view? Yes, there you go. That looks alright. I really like it. I'm pleased with it. It turned out good. Alright, this turned out great. I'm happy. And it leaves us with two things. We're going to build our project in there next episode. And then sometime after that, maybe the same episode, depending on how things go, we're going to want to start building the garden around here. You know, one of the things I want to establish is a theme for gardens and paths, get a palette for the different materials we're going to use, and I got some cool ideas for that, and that will allow us to connect this building to other things and make things feel natural. And as soon as I say that, do you know what will look good around this building? A good old big tree right next to it. That always helps a building to have some natural plants and stuff around it. Some bushes as well will probably go in good, so that's something that we will play around with. But I would love it if you let me know what you think of this building. Of course, you can leave a comment down below. And before this episode is over, I'm probably going to mention this again in the next episode as well, because I like to mention things at the beginning, but it completely passed my mind. Put out two big videos recently, the evolution of animal breeding, and also the other one is Battle Royale. That's right, two big events. I think both of those kind of explain themselves well. Battle Royale is PvP, and you should go check it out. So if you're looking for something to do, those two videos, it'd be really awesome if you go check them out if you hadn't already seen them. The evolution of animal breeding took me a long time to put together, and people really responded well to that one, so I was very happy with it. And Battle Royale is, as I said, a PvP event, experimenting with some new ideas and having fun with a whole bunch of cool people. But that's going to be it from me this episode. How are you liking it so far over here in our new base area? It's going really well, and I'm really enjoying it. But that's it. So, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.